man, good to see you both. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
PT, thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. This show is so good. Congratulations. Both of you are incredible in this. Jacob, I kind of want to start, you get these scripts, right? And you look at it and you do all the preparing you can, right? And then you get there, right? You get to film it and you're part of Sterling Point. What's that like for you? Like that script to screen journey, so to speak? Because like I feel like it really gets real once you get there, if that makes sense, right?
No, 100%. And I think a big part of this journey that we've been on is the fact that we're so lucky to shoot on location, and it was definitely really special to shoot up in Muskoka, and it brought so much, it brought so much to the story to be up in north of Toronto, because when we were shooting indoors, we were shooting mostly in studios in Toronto, but then finally going up and shooting outdoors, it brought a whole different life to the story. And yeah, it was amazing. It was gorgeous.
Agree.
Absolutely.
I feel like another when you first get the script and you're you're almost like a bit selfish in a way, and you're kind of just looking at your own part and you're thinking like, wow, how am I going to make the most of this? How am I going to work on this scene or play this? And then getting there in person and actually seeing how everyone else have brought their characters to life, because up until that point you're just reading names on a page and dialogue, and then all of a sudden you're seeing all these characters in the flesh. And I think this show, the casting is just phenomenal, and everyone brings their character to life so well. That helped just lift everything off for me.
Well, Daniel, that's a perfect segue to my next question for you. It's almost like you knew what I was going to ask. You're a professional. Look at you.
No, helping you out.
Well, no, it's interesting, right? Because one of the things I really love about this is, like you said, ensemble cast, everyone's so good. I really do love the one-on-one scenes, right? Whether it's Jacob and Ella, you and Ella type thing. How big is the mindset and preparation and difference between doing those group scenes versus those one-on-one scenes? Because it is all storytelling, but like, is it a big kind of preparation mindset change for you?
I mean, I think those group scenes are definitely, a bit more chaotic in the sense that we're just like a group of friends, like having like just throwing jokes at each other, and just improvising. So I feel like I'm much more. I was much more locked in on my one-on-one scenes than the group scenes. Definitely, I just felt like I was all over the place, and I couldn't, concentrate. But yeah,
it brings it for me, like that did something for me in terms of it does help to take you out of your head, before you know it, they're calling action and you're playing this huge group scene, but you might have been all of that kind of chatter and joking around and kind of conversation that's been happening on set with everyone. That dynamic just floods into the scene, and then you're not thinking about it too much. It helps.
Does it sometimes feel like you're working on two different shows sometimes, where it's like the rom-com one-on-one scenes versus the group kind of like big party scene? Like that's interesting too, right? Because they're so different, like to prepare for.
Yeah. I mean, kind of, it just felt so natural from the start to, build this chemistry that we all have with each other,
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really a challenge either for the one-on-one scenes or the group scenes to, make it feel natural. And as Daniel said, I think our chemistry reads well on screen. And yeah, I guess the preparation is different in the sense that the one-on-one scenes are usually, a bit deeper and a bit longer on, screen time and stuff. So the preparation is, us in the makeup trailer or whatever, reading the scene before we go in, or, brainstorming about the scene and, finding key points and stuff.
Absolutely. And Daniel, I did want to kind of ask you because, Megan did such an amazing job creating this amazing world of all these characters and the self-reflection and the slice of life, right? And figuring things out. And, I'm wondering from you, from an acting storyteller perspective, Daniel, like playing these characters, figuring it out, right? Coming of age, slice of life. They're doing self-reflection. They don't know what's going on. Everything changes. Is that more fun or more challenging for you from an acting perspective? Because from the viewer perspective, Daniel, they don't know they're lost, right? These characters. So I always found that interesting.
It's funny. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. Like, I think that's your job as an actor, which can be difficult at times. Is you analyze it so much from a storytelling point of view because you want to get things right and you want to hit certain beats and points and scenes, and you're trying to convey, not only is there like this character perspective, but there's the wider project, and you want to make sure you're getting the director's vision across. But then when you get to set, you kind of, yeah, like you said, you have to drop all that. You can't be aware of that. You can't be worrying about if this is conveying the right thing to the audience, which, I'm still guilty of sometimes doing that and being in my head about it. But the best acting comes, like you said, when the character isn't aware of this wider scheme and these objectives. And yeah, I hope we managed to pull that off and bring that across. And also, there's that wider narrative that the characters do become more aware. I think Rory, anyway, as the series progresses, starts to realize the circumstances a little bit and distances himself from certain people and whatnot. So yeah.
Absolutely. Last question for both of you, because we have 2 minutes left. I just want to super quickly. I find it so interesting because I'm a filmmaker as well, right? So I think about these things. So we're going to see some scenes, right, with Jacob and Ella, or like Daniel and Keenan, and we're going to see these scenes and they're going to run like, 2 minutes, right? And then we cut to the next scene, right? But I know that there's a very good chance that even though we see like 2 minutes, that took you maybe the whole day or a couple of days to film that whole thing, even though we only see 2 minutes. When those big scenes happen, right? Those long scenes, do they feel like their own mini movie, mini project, or do they overall feel part of Sterling Point?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some days where, the schedule was just, we were shooting two scenes in the whole day. So it definitely felt like, so some days were just jam-packed and tight schedule. We were shooting like 6 scenes a day, especially indoors, like in the studio. But then in the outdoors, it just felt like we were just on a movie set. We had all the time in the world. And as an actor, obviously it's a blessing to have so much time to, get to do a scene and get to understand it on a deeper level, and also get the chance to brainstorm through it with the director, and really take your time and try to nail it, and understand it on a deeper level and what it represents in the story. So Absolutely. Yeah, I do think it was a good mix of both, being on this project, which was honestly so much fun.
Daniel, super quick, what do you think about that? It's interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. It brings to mind something that there's so many of those sequences when they're like really elaborate to shoot, and they require this extensive setup that it does. You're right, it does become like a short film. When you said that, what sprung to mind was the club scene in episode 5 with Rory and Annie, because we did spend an entire day getting all of that shot, and there's interior and exterior, and then you watch it in the episode and it just cuts in and out of it. But yeah, when you're there in the day, you've forgotten every other scene exists. It's like you're only thinking about how this is going to be seen, and there's so many supporting artists. So yeah, I like that analogy that it becomes its own kind of short film. That I think that rings true for me.
Absolutely. I can't wait for people to see Sterling Point on Prime Video. Both of you are so good. The whole cast is amazing. I can't wait for people to see it. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.